Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is our pleasure and it is a very big honor for us, the Hungarian Institute of International Affairs, to welcome here Don Meridor, who is the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Intelligence of the State of Israel. Mr. Meridor was so kind as to come here to give us a lecture today. And before giving him the floor, permit me please to give a very brief summary of his career. I'm sure that most of you, all of you know him, because he has been in the front line of the Israeli policy for quite a period. We have seen him, we have heard him all around the world many times in many news, and now we can welcome here him in person as well. So this is a great honor. Mr. Meridor graduated from the Faculty of Law, and then he became a member of the Knesset, where he served from 1984 till 2003, and then again he was elected to the Knesset in 2009. He has served under different in different cabinets and for several periods, and he has held the portfolios of the Minister of Justice and Minister of Finance, and now presently he is the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Intelligence. And without much further ado, I think we are all very much interested in listening to what Mr. Meridor is going to tell us about the situation in the region. So please, Mr. Meridor, please.
Good afternoon. I'm happy to be here. It's an honor for me and a pleasure to be here alongside the Hungarian ambassador to Israel and the Israeli ambassador to Hungary, both of them sitting in the first row. These relationships between Hungary and Israel are important to us, I believe, to both sides. And I happened to be, I think, the first Israeli who secretly came here in 1988, when the communist regime was still on. Janusz Kaller was still the Secretary General, and Karel Gross was the Prime Minister. And I was asked to come secretly to meet him because he wanted, Mr. Gross wanted to resume relationship and start the talk by saying to me, our Russian friends know about the meeting, so it's okay. So then it developed, and it's 23 years now, and I think the relationship are solid and good, and I hope they'll continue this way. And I came here to speak to you on the Middle East developments, but I'll start with something that is not what we usually do. We usually speak on what we saw on television last night. And the world of today is a world where we are very attracted by the news, by the media, and we sometimes lose perspective. So I'll start with a broader perspective, longer perspective, the Israeli perspective on the Arab-Israeli developments along the years. It starts with a very huge asymmetry. If you take the map of the Middle East, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean in Morocco all the way to Iraq, if you like, the Muslim world, even farther east, and you see this tiny spot called Israel, you maybe understand the asymmetry, which is quite dramatic in terms of land, in terms of number of people, in terms of oil, in terms of economic and political influence. So the whole idea that this strange state, a Jewish state built there, would be able to survive, it was really sounded very, very strange to many Arab people. I don't think they were very irrational in that, because it's really that the numbers count here. And I think that something dramatic happened 43, 44 years ago in the 67 war that changed the Middle East radically. Until that day, when there were no territories and no occupation, everything was until 67, we looked really an easy prey. A very tiny step, but one successful military attack can be wiped off the map. And it was not irrational for Arabs to say, the time will come. The 67 war, the 6 Days War, changed all this quite dramatically. And after this Israeli victory against all our enemies around, there began a process, a very positive process, long, nerve-breaking, heartbreaking, but very positive, of acceptance of Israel in the Middle East by 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 Arab countries around us. Unfortunately, not because they thought we were right and they were wrong, but because they thought, realpolitik-wise, that we are strong enough to survive. So we also remember 1970, King Hussein of Jordan was almost overthrown by the Syrians, but although we helped him, he became our best friend. And we were able to take outside from this circle of hatred an important country, Jordan. It was not official, but in fact, he became our secret ally. The second step was, of course, Begin and Sadat in 1977-79. We took Egypt outside the circle of war. Egypt became the first Arab country to have signed a full treaty with Israel, peace, agreed border, full relationship, diplomatic and otherwise. Neither Sadat nor King Hussein, both of them rest in peace, ever became Zionists or supporters of the idea of Zionism. They understood that Israel is a neighbor and it's important to live with this neighbor rather than to try to get rid of it. And I think it was very important. Since these days of 1979, the agreement with Egypt, the Middle East is not what it used to. And this Israeli-Egyptian peace treaty caused the Middle East to look much more stable. The idea of a full-scale war was not anymore there. After that came 91. Some of you may remember there was the Madrid conference where Syria started to speak with Israel for the first time. Didn't yield much of the result, but it was the beginning. Then 93 brought the Oslo agreement between us and the Palestinians. 94 brought Jordan and Israel into full peace, officially signed by Yitzhak Rabin and King Hussein of Jordan. Along these years, Morocco developed good relationship with us. Tunisia did, some Gulf states, Oman and Qatar and others. So you see here a positive process. Not quick, not one-shot process, metaphorically of course, but a positive process of accepting Israel in the Middle East by many of its neighbors, officially, non-officially, semi-officially, good process. But like everything in life, every coin that we have, you have two sides to each coin. And along these years, they developed another process as well. Some of our neighbors who knew we are strong enough and they cannot beat us in a war, did not go the peaceful way, but said, all right, you are strong enough in the battlefield, we'll change the battlefield, we'll add two more layers. One above conventional, nuclear, the other below conventional, terror and guerrilla. Above conventional, we had Iraq trying to get nuclear. The Israeli Air Force and the Begin government took care of this in 81. The Iraqis didn't let go and started again, and in 91 the Americans and the British took care of this in their first Gulf War. Libya, we didn't know that, was going for a nuclear military power. We remember the day in 2001 or 2, then the CIA chief, Mr. Tenet, came to us saying they are going nuclear with the Pakistani proliferator Abdul Qadir Khan. We didn't know it. The Americans and British took care of this, and Libya was taken off this threat. Now I should be very cautious and say, according to foreign sources, Syria was going to get nuclear with the North Korean reactor, and according to the same foreign sources, the Israeli Air Force took care of this 2 years ago, but who knows who the foreign sources are right or wrong, then we all know that Iran tries to get nuclear. So you see a trend here of trying to move to change the battlefield to another layer. At the same time, terror and guerrilla. One needs to say this, you know, terror was always with us since day one of humanity. But in the modern era, in the globalization era, the technological era, if you like, the high-tech era, the power given or that is in the hands of individuals to cause damage is unprecedented in history. In the old times, it was countries fighting countries, kings fighting kings, if you like. So you knew how to deal with that. In the new era, it's non-state actors, organizations that can cause lots of damage. Just think of 9/11, 2001 in America. The Soviet Union built a huge army against the United States, couldn't kill one American soldier, and collapsed because it didn't have enough money to sustain it. In steps a man called Bin Laden, spent maybe $2 or $3 million, causing damage to America never caused in the past. So it's a new paradigm of war, and the potential of terror was seen evidently in 2001 in the attacks of Al-Qaeda, but was seen again and again in other parts of the world. And according to the stories of recent months, think of what cyber terrorism is. It's a new era in terms of terror and guerrilla and the non-state actors. One needs to say something about that. America is a strong country. It was attacked. It attacked Iraq, conquered it, attacked Afghanistan. They know how to do it. They attack countries and they know how to conquer it. Bin Laden is free. Al-Qaeda is still there because it's not an enemy that you can deal with by another tank, another bomb, or another brigade. It's a different story altogether. And think of our area. Lebanon is not threatening us. Hezbollah is. It's an organization. The Palestinian territory is not threatening. Hamas is. World Jihad is. It's a game with new players that added themselves into this equation. And there's another element which is maybe interesting. One could have thought after the era of Enlightenment in Europe, 18th, 19th century, that religion is not anymore a leading power in politics. And I think to this day in Europe it's not. But you see a revival of going to religion in guiding politics in large parts of the world and mainly in the Muslim world. You see the identity of people becoming more religious than national.